Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. This is the 2021 update video for Natalie, our Ruby compiler, our programming language that we've been working on for a while. I've been working on it for a few years, but in recent, in 2021 and especially in more recent months, the steam has picked up and the interest from various other people has picked up. And so yeah, there's just a lot going on right now. I can't wait to jump in. We're going to talk about what we accomplished this year, who kind of the major players were. We're going to go over the contributors. I'm going to show you a little video, our Gorse video, and then we're going to talk about the future, what I see in the future for Natalie. So yeah, let's jump right in. If you're not aware, Natalie is a Ruby compiler. Some might call it a transpiler. Essentially, we compile to C++ and then feed that through GCC or Clang to produce a binary. And some people ask why. I think that's the biggest question. Why another Ruby compiler? Why not, I guess is my answer. Why not? Because it's a fun project. I'm learning a lot. I have to say early on, the reason was just because I want to, just because I think it would be fun. But in 2021 especially, it has become more of a like, oh, wow, this could actually be useful for people, for companies, in certain circumstances where you want to ship a compiled binary. I'm starting to see like a future plan or future roadmap where this could actually become a thing, whereas it used to be, it's a fun project. Now it's still just a lot of fun, and that's why I do it. But there is the hope that in the future this could be a useful tool for people to ship Ruby code. I love Ruby. Ruby is a fantastic language, and I don't think we could have too many implementations of Ruby. There's MRI and JRuby, and I mean, there's lots out there. That's lots out there. But anyway, I'm getting kind of off track. But let's talk about the project. We're up to 377 stars. Actually, I think if I reload this, it might have gone up. It just went up to 400. Right now, as I am recording this, Natalie just hit the front page of Hacker News. I'll talk about that in a minute. And so that's why that's ticking up. But another thing that we did, I think is mostly for Natalie, is my YouTube channel. That's where a lot of people learn about what we're working on and are watching the compiler hacking videos. And there's just been a lot of interest in the YouTube channel over the last year. We got up to 2.35 thousand subscribers. And did that go up? That's 2.35 thousand. And to me, that's just amazing. That's pretty cool. I never dreamed that many people would care about me talking at a camera, but here you are. Okay, so we have a website. A lot changed on the website this year. We have a Discord server. I didn't link to that, but we have a Discord server that you can't see it. It launched over on the other screen, but it's pretty quiet. But every now and then there's a burst of activity and people talking about Ruby, which I think is fantastic and really just warms my heart. But in this year, I just worked on the website a little bit, kind of showcase. This is just some example Ruby code to show that like this actually does run real Ruby code. Here's string interpolation and all the methods and blocks and all kinds of stuff. And then another thing that we added on the website this year was a real-time, like daily tracker of our compliance to Ruby Spec, which is the community-driven, community-curated list of specs that any self-respecting Ruby implementation needs to implement. And as you can see, things are going in the right direction. The green one's going up and to the right, and the red one's going down and to the right. So, and error tests are going down and failing tests are going down. And we got a long ways to go, right? We need to get, hopefully, well, we'll talk about that in the future, but just a sneak peek. I think that in 2022, the green and the red line, they have to cross. They have to. They're just at the pace we're going. I think that unless something goes horribly wrong, these are going to cross, and that will be a huge day. Is when we have more passing tests than erroring tests or failing tests. So that's pretty cool. Another thing that got added in 2021 was individual spec results. You can actually drill down and see what is passing and what is failing. And there's a whole bunch of array ones. We worked hard on array this year, getting it to pass. So there's a lot of passing ones there, and hash. There's a bunch of passing hash ones and so on. And then you can see like there's going to be a bunch of failing file ones because we really haven't worked on the file class in Natalie yet. So this is a really fantastic tool that Richard created for us and lets us see the health of what's going on. So that's a little bit about the project. Let's talk about the buzz. Like I said, that just ticked up. We've got a lot of subscribers on the YouTube channel. At the beginning of the year, we only had 448. So it's gone up quite a bit, 2,300. So that's pretty cool. Our stars on GitHub, that is making a pretty steep move. And even today it is ticking up quite a bit. So, at the beginning of 2021, where is that? That would be like right here, right? We had 80 stars on GitHub. So, stars on GitHub aren't everything, but it's still a measure of how people can find Natalie and at least bookmark it to say like, this seems interesting. And some of those become contributors and some of those might become users someday. So I think that's a pretty cool measure. In terms of buzz, we made it to the Ruby compiler survey by our friend Chris Seaton, who created just a list of all the Ruby compilers. Some of these are old, some of these are new. Natalie is on the list, and that just makes me so happy. I think that's pretty cool. So Chris is much more into compilers than I am, and he studied each and every one of these to figure out how they work and how they tick internally. And I think this is a really cool project for him to put out there. And it really helps kind of put Natalie in the place of where we compare to other Ruby compilers and, how we're doing things. I think that's pretty neat. What else? We made it to Ruby Weekly somewhere on here. It's just a one-liner pretty much, but that was pretty cool. Got a bunch of GitHub stars from that and people joining Discord and kind of going, that's cool. Maybe someday that'll become something. Recently, I think it was just this week, Yukihiro Matsumoto, Matt, we just call him Mats in the Ruby community. He's the creator of the original Ruby. He linked to the project, so I think that was pretty cool. He's my hero. So this was going to be my Hacker News link because 4 months ago someone put it on Hacker News and we only got 3 points and 2 comments. But right this moment we are number 8. Let's refresh and see. Oh, it went up to number 5. That's pretty cool. So 52 points. So right now it's on the homepage of Hacker News. Some of these comments are woefully uninformed, but that's pretty typical for Hacker News. I think it's pretty cool that for every rude comment on here, there's probably 10 or 100 people who click the link and go, that's pretty sweet. And then my most favorite of all is that our friend Andreas did a whole video about contributing to Natalie, and we've just gotten a bunch of interest from that. People are still coming to us from that video and going, hey, how can I help out? I think that's fantastic. So that's all the buzz links I could find. There might be other ones that I've missed, but I think it's just a fantastic year for Natalie and exposure and getting people to sort of see what's going on with the project. And some of them have jumped in to help out. So that's pretty cool. Speaking of those people, these are contributors. I didn't find a way to limit this to 2021, but most of these came in 2021, especially the top ones. Richard and Antonio, also known as the Grizzly Dev, David Ott, I think Ali helped this year. Maybe it was last year. I know Tim Kraft did. Anyway, thank you to each and every one of you. JCS helped us. Joshua helped us with getting our OpenBSD, getting it to compile and run on OpenBSD, which is pretty cool. I won't go over everyone, but thank you to everyone who helped out. I just never dreamed that this many people would sort of see some value in this project and want to contribute code. And that's the power of open source, right? You just never know what is going to take off, and just putting it out there is a pretty powerful thing. So I have this page of contributors, and we're at 24. My goal this year was to get to 20 contributors for Natalie, and I have to be honest, when I set that goal, that was way up there. I thought, that's a stretch. I'm not sure if we're going to get it. And we blew past it, and we still have a few days left. So we may even get to 25. So that's pretty cool. I wanted to show you the Gorse video of the contributions. Don't worry, it's not long. You can see the beginning of the year, I was working on some stuff, and Joshua stopped by to help fix our builds on OpenBSD. That was very appreciated. And then it was kind of just me for a while. February and March, just me hanging out, doing a little bit here and there. Kind of slowed down a little bit after this. Life gets busy and you have other things to do. So here's me just chilling, not doing a lot of coding. And then I think who showed up after that? Oh, so I got a burst of energy, obviously. Here I am just going to town, doing my thing. There's David Ott. There's Michael. I can't read all the names very fast, but and then there goes Richard. Richard jumped right in and just started implementing all kinds of things. I can't see that name. It's bouncing around too fast. There's the Grizzly Dev. There's Antonio doing his stuff. So Richard and Antonio have contributed a ton of lines of code to the project. Thank you to those fellas. Let's see, Kevin Shaw. I'm trying to read the names here. Just look at that. It's so cool. It's just so cool. I love this tool. I love just seeing people run around. I just imagine their feet moving really fast and running. Okay, and then here towards the end, it's like the finale in December. You just see all these people just going crazy, just going bam, 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 bam. A lot of those were from Andreas sending people our way from his video. So many thanks to him. But that's just a cool video. Just towards the end there, seeing all those people go bam, bam, bam all over the place. Oh, it's so cool. It warms my heart. So that's the people. Here's the work. I already talked a little bit about this, getting these lines to go the right way and getting these tests to pass. We talked about the spec results. I don't need to go over that again. And then a lot of the work this year was implementing methods on the core objects. And you can kind of see, I think almost all of this was done this year. On an integer, there's an ABS method. There's a divide, there's a down to, just implementing those. And when we check this off, it's because it's passing the full spec or most of the spec. Every now and then we have to comment out something if there's some cross-pollination where one spec requires, like sometimes it requires something over here in this other core object that we're just not ready to implement. So we might comment those out and then come back. But for the most part, this means that these are fully spec compliant. And every time we do this, we check off the little box, and it's kind of addicting. And you can see just a lot of people have joined in to do that. This is, I'm not going to pronounce that, Ilgiz Mustafa. He or she helped out quite a bit with the integer stuff, and you can kind of see all the commits there. Richard did, Linus did, Tim Kraft. I mean, all kinds of people. This is like a who's who of who's working on Natalie. Here's the same one for string. As you can see, we didn't do quite as much, but we did a few there. And Linus helped out with that. These are the issues that we've closed in 2021. I won't go over all of them, but there's a lot. There's quite a few, definitely more than 2020. Getting recursive array equality checks, that was a nightmare. Thank you to Antonio and Richard for helping me out quite a bit on that. Default and keyword arguments, we've had some bugs there. Implementing all the methods on hash. I think I have a tab for that. We did all this work this year, all the methods for hashes are implemented and spec compliant. And so that's a really good feeling. Thank you to everyone who helped out. I think we have some names down here. So Richard, did Richard do all of this work? Yes, he did. So high five to Richard for doing all that. I think that's pretty cool. Lazy, I think Richard may have done all of this. It looks like I helped out a little bit, but yeah, so that's pretty cool. This is like, I didn't even know this really was a whole world of Ruby in the core library of having these lazy objects that you can treat like an array, and then they don't really execute the work until you grab however many objects off of the array that you want or off of the enumerable. And so that's a really cool part of the core library that we got done. And it's a good feeling. I don't know, I keep saying that, but it's a good feeling. Those are, I think I already had that. I don't know why that is. For a long time, since the very beginning, I think Natalie couldn't run on ARM, and that became more apparent. That was, in the beginning, that was Raspberry Pis, but as more people got those fancy new Mac M1s, that became a real problem. People couldn't try it out on their Mac, so we got this working this year. That was huge because I had to write assembly, ARM64 assembly, and it was a milestone. It was a milestone. So glad to have that done. Another thing we worked on this year was the garbage collector. We were using a library called BDWGC, pretty standard open source garbage collector library. And I wanted to see what we could do if our garbage collector was more integrated into the language and knew how to look inside the objects and knew what was something that needed to keep track of versus not. And so started working on that in April, and I think merged it in May or June. It was a big project for me. I have a video about it if you want to take a look at that. But yeah, that was a big milestone getting that to work. And there's this is just scratching the surface. There's lots of little things that we've done with Natalie to make the language more complete, make it more Ruby than it was. But there's a lot to go. And so that's where I get to the future. I keep coming back to this graph. Like I said, I think these should cross in 2022, and I think that we want to see this green line just go way up to the top, and the red line to go down, and the yellow line to go down. And I think that we can do that, especially with the steam picking up from different people joining the project and wanting to help out. That's going to be something we can get there. And this was something that I need to reword this, but I think there's some scripts here from the Ruby compiler survey that I think we should be able to run as fast or faster than MRI. So that's an area that I want to work on in 2022, is getting Natalie, like we've gotten the language to be more correct over time, and it's more and more a complete set of Ruby, a complete, it could run real Ruby programs without erroring or crashing or producing wrong results. But we haven't really focused on speed yet, and there's a lot on the table for speed. We can make it a lot faster. And so one of those ways is method cache. We don't have any method cache at all right now. So getting that implemented will be huge. I don't even know where to start other than reading blog posts. Another thing we may want to do in 2022 is implement our own Regex engine. We're currently using a library called Enigmo, but I think at minimum, I think there's a path that we could take where we implement a pretty simple Regex engine and then switch to Enigmo or this, depending on the type of Regex you're using. And then over time, we can make it more complete. That's more of in the category of something I've been wanting to do anyway. It's like one of those like bucket list projects. So it's something I might tackle in 2022. Let me know if you're interested. You want to help out. Yeah, it's a maybe. I'll put that in the maybe category. This Google search is kind of a joke, but definitely want to be profiling Natalie, making it faster, and just identifying bottlenecks and that sort of stuff. One of those bottlenecks is arg value by path. This is the code that runs when you, let's pull up something here, foo x and y, and this just returns x times y. Okay, so I have this method and I call foo with 1 and 2. Well, that's very simple, right? We know that the 1 goes into the x and the y is 2. So x argument is 1 and y argument is 2. But there's a lot of cool stuff that you can do with Ruby. So, if I put parentheses here, then now this is expected to be an array. I guess this would be like 2, 3. So now it's destructuring. And so there's that. And then there's splat arguments. So all the rest of these stuff. So this could be 4 or 5. And then we have keyword arg. Let's call it KW. And you can have defaults for that. And you can have arguments, call this ZZ, I guess, false. So you can have defaults, you can have splats, you can have keyword arguments. As you can see, this can get really crazy really fast. And so this code has evolved over time to handle all those cases, but it's not fast. And when most of the time our methods just take 1 or 2 arguments, this code is overkill. And so one of the areas for performance in 2022 would be to identify in the compiler of, it's the simple case. We don't need to run all this. We can just grab X and Y and we can skip. You could have like the fast path and then the slower path. And there's areas like that in Natalie, some that I haven't even identified, but this is one that's top of mind to optimize. And I think that'll be a fun project. I don't think that'll be hard, but it's just something I've put off so far. So if you want to help out with that, let me know. We have a bunch of open issues, implementing methods of string, integer, array pack. This is a whole world in Ruby that I didn't even know existed, array pack. We got some issues with the REPL. So there's a lot of stuff to be done in 2022 and even stuff that's not on here. I noticed, I don't think is float. I think we already did all of float. But there's other objects like open struct and struct, and there's all kinds of core Ruby stuff that we don't even have an issue on here for. It's not even on our radar yet. But I suspect in 2022 we'll get around to working on at least some of those. I already talked about that. So, but that's it. That's Natalie. That's what we did in 2021. And it's been a blast. I've made so many new friends. Thank you to everyone who's been encouraging and reaching out to say, how can I help? Or just hey, this is a cool project. That means a lot to me. I hope that you'll join our community, even just to hang out and chat and lurk. We have a Discord server that anyone can join and chat about. If you just want to chat about languages, we have a channel for languages. A lot of people talking about just other ideas. I think the story here for me, for Natalie, is you can do it. You can do it. You can make your own language. You can do it for fun, and it doesn't have to mean anything. How do I say that? It doesn't have to blow away the competition or be the best ever or be faster than everyone else or be this brand new language that no one's ever thought of. Just do whatever you think is fun. Something that will keep you busy, something that gives you some enjoyment in life, and something that just contributes to the world. And I think that's what we've done a little bit with Natalie, and I think that's what we'll continue to do. And I appreciate you. I appreciate you hanging out and watching. I hope to see you in another video where we do some actual work. Maybe I'll have one more video this year. Well, we'll see. Thanks for hanging out. Hope to see you soon. Bye.